Hello coders, I hope you are coding well. In the previous video, we created a page and we displayed all drinks in our React application. And in today's video, we will create product detail page, and after that we will call the API to get the product details by the ID, and then we will show those details on the page. So let's get started. So we will start by creating a new page, and to do this we will right click on the pages folder, and here we will choose new file, and we will name this file as product detail.jsx. And now we need to create the CSS file. So on the CSS folder we will right click and we will choose new file, and we will name this file as product detail.css. Now let's go back to product detail.jsx, and here we need to create a function. So we will mention const and we will name this as product detail, and after this we need to write an arrow function, and in the body of this function we will write return statement. And for now let's return a div from here, and let's write product detail works. Now at the end of the file we need to write export statement, and we will mention default, and then we need to mention the component name, which is product detail. Now let's save this file, and after this we need to create a route for this product detail page. And to do this we will open app.js, and in the app.js we need to duplicate the drinks route, and after this we need to update the path, and we will give it as slash drinks slash, and after this slash we need to get the ID, so we will mention a variable here by giving the colon, and after this we need to update the element, and we will mention product detail, and we will import it from pages slash product detail. And that's it for the routing. Now let's save this file, and let's open our drinks page, and here in the drinks page we need to update this view details button, and we need to add a link, so whenever user will click on this button we will redirect him to the product detail page. And to do this we need to write a tag which is link, and we need to import it from React router DOM. And after this let's close the tag, and for this link tag we need to give a to property, and in this we need to give the URL to which we want to redirect. And to give the URL we will use backticks, and we will mention drink, and after the slash we need to pass the drink ID, so we will write dollar and then curly braces to inject the variable, and after this to get the drink ID we need to call product dot id drink. And that's it for the URL. Now let's copy this div and let's paste it in this link tag, and with this the code to redirect the user to drink detail page is completed. Now let's save this file and let's run our application. And as you can see our application is up without any errors. Now let's go to the browser and let's validate the functionality of the redirection. And on the home page of our application we need to click on this drinks button, and as you can see we got redirected to the drinks page. Now let's click on this view details button, and as you can see we got redirected to the drink page, and in the URL after slash drink we are getting the ID of the drink. And for the content we can see product detail works, which is coming from the product detail component. Now let's go back to the VS Code, and in the VS Code let's open our product detail.jsx, and in this file first of all we need to create a variable for the URL, and the URL will be www.thecocktaildb.com/api/json/v1, and after this we need to give the API key which is 1, and the endpoint URL is lookup.php, and after this we need to pass the ID by giving I is equals to. And after this let's go to the body of the product detail function, and here we need to create a constant, and to store the product details we need to create a use state, and we will name this as product, and after this to set the value we will use set product, and after this we need to mention use state from React, and after this we need to create a variable to store the ID, so let's mention constant and let's name this as ID, and to set the value we need to use param from the React router DOM. Now we have the variable for the product and we have the ID from the URL. And now we will use effect to call the API. So let's create the use effect and let's write an arrow function here. And in the use effect, we need to accept the ID. So let's mention it here. And after this, to call the API, we will write a method. So let's mention const and we will name this method as fetch product. And after this, we need to mention async keyword because this is an asynchronous method. And after this, we will write an arrow function. And in the body of this fetch product function, we need to store the response. So let's mention const and let's name this as response. And after this, we will use await keyword. And to call the API, we will use fetch. And in the params, we need to give the URL. So let's use the URL here. And after this, we need to pass the ID. So let's use plus sign for that. And let's mention ID. Now we need to get the JSON from the response. So let's mention constant and let's name this as drinks and we will set the value in it by using await and then we need to call response.json method. And after this, let's write a console log statement and in this we need to pass strings and after this we will access the zero index of it because this API will return list of array and the product details will be in the zero index. And after this we need to set the response in this product use state. So let's call set product and in the params we will pass same drinks and then we will access the zero index. And now we need to call this fetch product method. So let's do this here. And with this our API call is ready. Now let's save this file and let's go to the browser to verify the working of our API call. And as you can see, we are getting one error. And to resolve this error, let's go back to the VS Code. And to resolve that error, we need to add curly braces around this ID so we can destructure it. Now let's save this file and let's go back to the browser. And here let's right click on the page and let's click on inspect. And after this, we will click on this console tab. And as you can see, we are getting one object in the log. Let's open it. And you can see we are getting the details of our drink where we can see the ID and other details of the drink. Now let's go back to the VS Code and let's write the code to show these details here on the page. And in the VS Code, let's go to the return statement and here we will write a div and we will give it a class of container. And in this container, we will write another div tag and we will give it a class of drink. And in this drink div, we will write another div tag and we will give it a class of flex container. And in this flex container, we need to show the image of the drink. And to do this, we will use image tag and for the source, we will pass product.str drink thumb. And now after the image, we will write a div tag and we will give it a class of cocktail infos. And in this div, we will show the other details of the drink. And in this cocktail infos, we will write another div tag and we will give it a class of row. Now let's format this code. And in the first row, we need to show the name of the drink. So we will use h3 tag for the label and we will show name in it. And for the value, we will use p tag and we will call product.str drink. And after the name, we need to show the category. So we will write another row. And for the label, we will write category. And for the value, we will call product.str category. And after the category, we need to show the info of the drink. So we will write another row tag. And for the label, we will show info. And for the value, we will call product.str alcoholic. And after the info, we need to show the instructions. So we will write another div row tag. And for the label, we will show instructions. And for the value, we will call product.str instructions. And after the instructions, we need to show the property glass. So we will write another div tag. And for the label, we will give it as glass. And for the value, we will call product.str glass. And that's it for our HTML code. Now we will scroll to the top and here we need to import the CSS file. So we will write import statement and for the URL we will go to the CSS folder and after this we need to mention the file name which is productdetail.css. Now let's save this file and let's open our CSS file. And in this file I will paste the CSS code, and you can pause the video and you can copy this simple CSS code. Now let's save this file and let's go to the browser. And as you can see, we are showing the data of the drink, which includes the image, the name, category, info, instructions, and glass. Now let's click on this drinks button. And as you can see, we got redirected to the drinks page. And now let's click on the view details button of this drink. And as you can see, we got redirected to the drinks detail page. And now we can see the details of the new drink. And that's it for this video. In the next video, we will work on the search page of our drinks application.